In this video, I'll give you some tips that will help you reach the point where your social media accounts and your blog itself are combined. Some of these will immediately take a mediocre and poorly functioning Twitter account and turn it into something that is gradually able to gain momentum. So after you've followed through on the advice from the previous video and established a strong brand across all platforms, the next thing to get to work on is setting up these relationships. This is crucial stuff, not to be skipped. The first thing to do is to make sure your site has a Follow Us on Twitter button. Even if you're only getting a small amount of traffic to your website, you might be making a big impression on some of those visitors. Adding a button that makes it easy for people to follow you on Twitter or that links to your Twitter profile will give those people an easy and familiar way to stay updated and to get more of your content. A lot of websites will forego this. Too often, bloggers and business owners recognize the importance of letting their visitors share the content they find and enjoy, but they don't give an easy way to follow them. Add this function and make it prominent, and suddenly you have a way to stay in touch with your occasional visitors and to bring them back more often. This way, even if you were to ignore your Twitter, it would still grow slowly over time. Better yet is to add a Twitter feed to your website. Assuming your website is powered by WordPress, you can integrate this feature very simply by installing a widget plugin and arranging it to appear in your sidebar. The best widget for this task, in my opinion, is WP Twitter Feeds, which you can install from within the WordPress dashboard. If you're unsure about how to do this, then ask your web designers, but note that this is a 2-minute job and should be charged accordingly. Once you have a Twitter feed, you'll not only have made it easy for people to follow you if they want to, but you'll also have given them a little taster of the kind of content they can expect from you if they do follow. This also has the nice added bonus of keeping your website looking active by filling it with new content. We briefly mentioned social sharing buttons as something most people should already know that they should do. Now, just to reiterate, you should do this. Social sharing buttons give your visitors an easy way to share the content they enjoy on your website, even if they aren't following you. This means that their entire audience will get to see that content and might be introduced to your brand for the first time. If you have a WordPress site, the best plugin I know of for this purpose is Shareaholic, which again you can install from within the WordPress dashboard. It not only lets your visitors follow you on Twitter, but on other social media sites like Facebook and Google+ as well. You should link all of your different social media accounts, but one of the most important ones to look at is Instagram. Why? Because Instagram and Twitter work very similarly and are perfectly designed to go together. Briefly, Instagram is a social media channel where you can share photos with light effects and filters added. It's got lots of photos of sunsets, selfies of people working out, and shots of people's legs on sun loungers. But Instagram can also be very useful for marketers. For starters, it's actually larger than Twitter in many ways. At the same time, it makes similar use of hashtags, but it's actually more popular for them as people will enjoy looking at photos on particular themes. If you upload a photo of your hotel on holiday, for instance, then you might very likely want to see photos other people have recently taken of that same hotel, people who are likely staying there with you at that very moment. The great thing is that when you upload to Instagram, you can easily select to tweet to Twitter as well, and this will include the very same comment and hashtag while even showing a link to the image you posted. This way you can add a more visual element to your Twitter tweets, and people can feel as though they're getting an insight into your daily life or into the way you run your business. You should also link your accounts and ensure that if you post to one, that message will appear on all of your different social networks. So, for example, if you update your Facebook page status, then ideally that should appear on Twitter. Likewise, if you upload a new video, then you should have this appear on your Twitter account too. You can even set up WordPress to share new posts on Twitter. This is a great way to save time while providing compelling content to your Twitter followers. This feature is built right into WordPress, which makes the whole thing very easy. We're going to get a bit more advanced with this auto-posting in coming videos, but at this point the take-home message is that content you post in one place should automatically be shared across all your accounts where appropriate. Here's one more way to get people to sign up to your Twitter that often gets overlooked. Just ask them to. If you place a Twitter button in the corner of your website and you find that people still aren't signing up, then it could be one of two things. Either no one knows it's there, or you're not providing enough incentive for people to want to sign up. So instead of just leaving it to chance, why not say in the occasional blog post something like, "To stay up to date with all our latest content and special offers, please consider signing up to our Twitter." Something like this might be just enough to draw attention to your Twitter and get people interested. This works even better in video, so if you occasionally vlog, you should also make sure that you ask people to sign up at the end of each video. No matter what type of business you're running, it's crucial that you have a strong presence on Twitter. Twitter is an incredibly important and powerful social media network that is one of the largest on the net, with approximately 316 million monthly active users and about 1 billion registered users. Like Facebook, Twitter has grown to become a household name and needs no introduction. It has become a part of our everyday lives, even featuring in movies and TV shows as a prominent plot point, and its marketing potential is gigantic. Apart from its size and prominence, Twitter benefits from a number of features that make it perfectly tailored for use as a marketing tool. While some businesses will certainly be better suited to its unique advantages than others, there is no denying that every type of company can benefit from it in some way or another. In the best case scenario, it could help you to improve your customer relations, help to provide a better service, and greatly increase your leads, your turnover, and your profits. In fact, some businesses will find they actually can't cope with the amount of business that comes their way as the result of a new Twitter campaign. If you get retweeted by a prominent user, or if one of your posts starts trending, then you can find yourself inundated by a swarm of new customers. This can be a little like opening Pandora's box, and, at the risk of mixing metaphors, it's not always so easy to put the genie back in the bottle. But having too many customers is definitely a unique complaint, and for most of us this kind of growth is pretty much the stuff of dreams. So, if you do want to open that Pandora's box, consider this your key to unlocking it. In this video series, we'll go over everything you need to know about Twitter. That means we'll cover the basics, but more importantly, we'll be looking at the best strategies and approaches that you can use to really tap in and harness the power of Twitter. This series is about getting the best possible results in the minimum time and with the minimum effort. If you're currently just treading water on Twitter, this will help you to start seeing massive growth and to have fun doing it, whether you run a small business, a blog, or something else entirely. Are you ready? Let's get started. Just before we jump in and start looking at all the strategies and hacks you can use to get ahead on Twitter, let's take a moment to examine what it is about Twitter that is so perfect for helping you get the word out. At the same time, we'll be looking at what it is about Twitter generally that has helped it to get to the point where it is. The key idea behind Twitter is really that it limits the number of characters you can post or tweet to 140 to be precise. What's interesting about this concept is that, on the face of it, it sounds like a limiting factor. Twitter has restricted its users and made that a feature. But this is a stroke of genius in an age where we're constantly pushed for time and constantly inundated with things to do. And from a marketing standpoint, it's amazing because it takes literally just a few seconds to send out a tweet versus uploading a blog post. That tweet has the potential to be seen by thousands, if not millions of people, but it took you only seconds to write. That's a huge payoff for a very small amount of work, which makes it massively scalable, even for a tiny company. At the same time, the short amount of characters means that people will read the entire tweet without getting bored, and it means you can convey large amounts of information in a very short time. Tweets force you to be witty and to really make sure every word counts, which means a dense amount of information in a short space. Great for someone in a rush. Another stroke of genius is the hashtag. With a hashtag, you can convey the subject matter of your tweet in another convenient way. A post about a beautiful sunset could then end with hashtag beauty or hashtag sunset. Better yet, you can use the hashtag to discuss something that is currently being discussed a lot or something that is very contemporary. For example, if you see something in the news, you can comment on that news using the right hashtag. This means that people who are interested in that subject can search for the keyword and see all the posts in that topic. It's a great way for people to find what you've been sharing. You can also tag other users in your comment with the @ symbol, which is a great way to get their attention or to discuss something that they've said or done. Finally, retweets mean that anyone who enjoys your content can share it with their followers. Like the best social media sites, this allows Twitter to take full advantage of the viral potential of any social network. In theory, a very well thought out tweet can be retweeted multiple times, allowing it to spread exponentially through networks of users. If you share a tweet with 2,000 people and 200 of those reshare and 50 of each of their users reshare, you're starting to reach a gigantic audience. On top of the core features of Twitter, the platform has also grown to present many more opportunities that we digital marketers can make use of. For instance, there are tons of apps, widgets and other platforms that make it very easy to enjoy Twitter in a convenient bite-sized format. Mobile users can even receive tweets from users they're following as notifications, giving you much more direct access to your audience. Likewise, embedding Twitter into the sidebar of your website can also aid growth considerably, as can using one of the countless tools that allows you to automate the publishing of Twitter content. And that's before we've even mentioned the formalized advertising platform. We'll look at how to use all of these features and much more over the course of this video series. For now, the point to keep in mind is simply that Twitter has grown beyond its origins and is now an incredibly flexible tool. In fact, it is perhaps the most flexible social network, thanks to its minimalistic nature.